This is revenue marketing raw. No fluff, no vendor pitches. Just the truth your CMO won't say out loud. Featuring Jeff Pedowitz and Dr. Qaqish. Let's go!
What's up? We're live. We're raw. Hey, Deb.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Doing well. We were just talking offline. We're getting all professional, we have like nice new backgrounds and everything. Where's our staff though, Deb?
We have no staff.
Assistants.
Thank goodness for AI, right?
Thank God for AI.
Based on we use it heavily for sure.
Even for us, we're in this space, right? I don't know if we envision how much we would use it or how much it's changing us, over the last few years.
I couldn't say exactly how, but I always knew that it was going to have this extraordinarily, profound effect on everything that we do. There was a post the other day, and there was did you see that post about there was a CDP that now has AI agents that operate within it, and I forgot whose CDP it was, and there were all these people commenting on it, and mine was very simple: about time. Right? Because if you think about the ultimate value of an agent, there's nothing more valuable than understanding the customer and bringing that customer data together in a place where it is actionable. These are words that have left our mouths since 2005, right? And now we're finally here, and AI, makes that happen. And so I thought we might talk about that, but then we were talking right before the show, and I think we want to spend some time talking about, let's talk about the higher use case for AI. And, I like the thought that the future does not belong to the marketing organization that can use AI. The future belongs to the marketing organization who can use AI to drive revenue. And again, we've said this multiple times, too many use cases of AI are simply around better, faster, cheaper. They are really not pointed toward that revenue equation. So why don't we talk about that today? And I think a great place to start, Jeff, would be, we know the number one predictor of whether or not marketing is going to drive credible revenue impact is their collaboration and their relationship with sales. So given all the issues between sales and marketing, how can you imagine, or what have you seen for how AI can help create a revenue relationship between those two teams?
Several ways. I think, look, first and foremost, even without AI, you have to have shared goals, right? If both groups are chasing a different path, even if you have AI, you're not working together, you're working separately. But so let's start off.
And that sounds simple, but Jeff and I were working with a company out of New York a few years ago, and the sales team and the marketing team were completely not in alignment. The CMO was driving net new business, net new leads, because she was told that's what she needed to do, and sales was not following up on those. And do you know why? Because they made as much money on following up on extending business as they did on net new business. And they had all the business extension that they could handle. They had zero. So
exactly. So even if you use, let's say, AI to optimize your leads because you're getting gold on leads, and sales is using AI to improve sales, you're still not working together. So I guess where I would start then is I would have AI analyze the breakdown. And make it a little bit more objective, like we've done with ICP in the past. Like, hey, go and analyze the database. Who are we really selling to? What are the best reps doing? And let the data come back and have AI say, marketing, I know that you're currently gold on leads, but if you actually focused on this segment, this is the hottest closing segment that sales is doing right now. If you just shifted your attention to this segment, you would have better conversion, something like that. So.
And what a powerful thing to do in your organization. And even though you may get pushback, because in some companies, marketing has to feed everybody, I say to hell with that, especially if you as a marketing team have a number that you have to meet. What matters is meeting the number. So that's a great idea, Jeff. I mean, how simple is that, right?
So that would be a first one. I think second one, I mean, we were just talking about this last week about marketing needing to get in the field and go on ride-alongs, but at a bare minimum, are you using the transcription capabilities from virtual meetings that sales are having with customers? I mean, like sales now, whether you're using Teams or you're using Gong or some other thing to record all the sales calls, like why in marketing, listen to those calls, and say, hey, what can I learn
take all
from
of
this?
those call transcriptions and analyze those. What are clients really asking for? Which way are they really going? What is their appetite for change? How much could you be selling them? Sales should be doing that, but it is a gold mine for the marketing organization. You're absolutely right, Jeff. And a lot of times now when we set up meetings, there's just automatic transcription on it. Everyone is accustomed to
Yes.
that, especially
one of the hardest challenges that marketers in almost every walk of whatever vertical have is writing in the voice of the customer. And marketers always smile and laugh because we're all guilty of it. So are you and I. We come up with our acronyms and the way that we want to talk about things, and we brand shit, because we want to try and be unique and stand out. But our customers don't talk that way at all. So if you actually use the transcript and say, look, I want you to go listen to this call, and I want you to highlight all the ways that the customer's talking about their problems or how they would use our products and service. But I want you to highlight it in a way where it completely stands out from the way that we're talking about it. So almost like glaring lights to the marketer saying, see your cute little phrase here that you're all proud of. Like they don't use that, right? Like start talking like this. And then, because I think that will be helpful. It's one of the biggest.
And so Jeff, and there is a way, let's say you have a sales organization. Let's say you've got 50 salespeople. And let's say you use Zoom for meetings, and let's say that there's an automatic transcription for all of that. I mean, there is an easy way just to have AI come in and just continuously bring those transcripts in and update what it is that you're looking for and new messages.
Yeah, what you're talking about is the next step. So, first I would at least get marketers in the habit of listening and analyzing some of those transcripts. But then, that's an easy agent. Okay, Listen to the call. Go to the appropriate web page, update the blog or update the page, update the thing, update the sell sheet. And that's when you really start using your customer's voice to inform how you're writing and how you're generating your content, which is a lot better than just coming up with a prompt.
Right. And it could be more than that. It could be, again, to your point, updating on product fit for different audiences.
Yes.
So, for example, if you've got a campaign and you've got a product going to a particular segment, and you go back and you listen to the last 2 months of transcripts and do that analysis and find out that segment is not interested in that product, right? Well, what product are they interested in, right? So it can also help you with product placement, product selection. It can also help you, with the messaging and the voice of the customer as well. But it can also help you come up with new ideas for campaigns and ways to actually interact with customers and prospects, no matter where they are in their journey.
So that'll be one. I think another big way is really.
And listen, everybody listening to this is money right here. This is like the steps that we're coming up with here. This is money for you.
Yeah, we're going to start charging for this.
Exactly.
Shit.
Yes.
I think one of the areas for both marketing and sales is back to data-driven insights. But to be more specific, like marketing has a lot of reports and dashboards, but they're all over the place. And you and I, we've seen CMOs go through this torturous exercise for years. They get these board presentations ready. They're putting everything into PowerPoints, dozens, if not hundreds of slides. And inevitably, someone on the board asks the question, they don't have the report or dashboard for us, and then they have to go spend another week generating or analyzing it. It's not that businesses don't have the data. It's just that it's scattered. I think a great way to use AI is to bring together the elements that will help the marketing executive make the decisions better, faster. Where you don't have to hop between 17 different reports. You could see it, you can interact with it, you could chat with it, and then extend that into sales, right?
Right. Even before you go there, and if I'm the CMO, my data is pulling from the CRM, what got closed, what didn't get closed, all of those things. So you're using these same data sources for things as sales is using.
Yeah, but also make the data more digestible and approachable. So for those marketers out there that had to deal with, for example, with Google Ads and Google Analytics, you get lost into the world of tagging and all the other ways. Like Google's not making their software necessarily easy to use. So you're buying a bunch of media and you're trying to analyze SEO. Wouldn't it be really great if you could just go into Claude and say, okay, how's my media doing? Which segments should I move over? And then Claude tells you in plain English, these 3 segments are underperforming. You should move the money from here to here. And then the CMO says, okay, go ahead and move it, and then, okay. Based upon this recent transcript that I analyzed from sales, we should be going after this ICP. Are we currently buying media for those? And then Claude says, no, but you want me to set that up for you. So you really can start having intelligent conversations and make the data more actionable versus you having to be necessarily an expert in how.
I love that. And again, there's a very great practical example. The other thing that comes to mind here is that, in corporate America, we're so accustomed to decisions being made and things being pushed down. And in the age of AI, we're going to have more push up for decisions to be made.
Yes.
Right? Because things are moving so quickly and you have access to so much better information, so much faster around how things are working. So it kind of takes the guesswork out at an executive level, again, because you can use that data to say, here's what's happening down here, and then push that up. And again, that just makes for a very different kind of company, right? So it's not, well, my gut tells me we've got to focus on this segment and with this product when, nothing's further from the truth, right?
No, and I think look, there is, of course, something to be said for experience and intuition. But given how fast and how complicated it is now to go to market and sell, you got to have that data together with it so that at least you can make your intuitive decision on top of factual, information. I think another one is scoring.
Oh my gosh. So guys, this is how far back Jeff and I go. Jeff Pedowitz created the original scoring for Eloqua, which, as you know, was the Mac Daddy first in the market, right? And he
in our team, I can't say I did it by myself.
Right, it was a team, but and then he calls me and he says, I want you to take a look at this and try this because I was an early customer of Eloqua. So I guess those conversations go back to like 2005 or something like that.
2004, yeah.
Yeah, 21 years ago, we were talking about scoring. And through the years, I just want to knock marketers in the head. Any kind of scoring you can do is infinitely better than zero, right? And now we have scoring on steroids thanks to AI. Tell us about it, Jeff.
Well, I was about to say, and those same models that the marketers put in 21 years ago, they're still running. They haven't updated it, They
haven't updated it yet.
So I think there's a couple ways. First of all, we can have a whole other conversation about scoring an individual versus scoring a team. But let's just say even with the individual, you haven't refreshed it in a while. Most marketers haven't because this only happens every few years. So have AI go through, hey, analyze all my leads, all the closed won deals, and look at my scoring. And then come back and tell me, where we need to make adjustments to the model. Do we need new attributes? Should we change the weighting? Should we add new elements, take out elements? Because I want to update the score. So that would be part one. Part two, especially if you're in B2B, in almost any case, you're not selling to a single person. You're selling to a buying committee, 5, 7, 15 people. Okay, I want you to go through and first analyze all my accounts and let me know of all these people that should be on the buying committee, who are they? Okay, then I want you to go and I want you to create an account level score separate from the individual score. I want you to start scoring the company based upon these thresholds and let us know where we're short. Third, now that you have all the scoring model in place, let's develop a propensity model or a predictive model. Okay, so now based upon all this criteria, which of these accounts are most likely to move forward, right, in my deal progression based upon the data that we're tracking. So it becomes a lot more data driven, and you can have this back and forth conversation with AI to update this information without changing any of the other underlying data. You're just reading it in a more intelligent way.
So as Jeff is kind of giving you guys these ideas for things that you can do, one of the things that occurs to me, and we have talked about this in prior shows, is that marketing now needs to become an AI workflow architect, right?
Yes.
And because it's going to be all about workflows with agents, not with people or singular pieces of technology. And these workflow designs will need to be adaptive, because how they work, how well they work, what they can do, will continue to evolve over time. So every time Jeff talks about, well, you could just take AI and you could do this and you could do that and you could do this idea of a workflow architect with agents understanding what AI can and can't do within your systems is going to be absolutely fundamental. That should probably be one of the number one jobs that your marketing ops team is looking at right now, because they are really in the best position to figure that out. So that's a great example.
And regardless of your role in marketing, even if you're traditionally heavily creative, you do video work, you're writing all the copy, graphic design. I think there is coming this match of both creative and systemic thinking, leveraging AI as tools, right? So it's not, yes, creativity in marketing is still just as important as it's ever been, but you also have to start thinking systemically, because that's what then drives the workflow setup on the AI. And neither one of us is saying that AI replaces the marketer. What we're talking about here is the role evolving in marketing. So you're leveraging these tools and these workflows.
Again, less execution, more judgment, more strategy.
More strategy. So when we talk about strategy and judgment, we're talking about these things like, okay, what are all the elements that should go into this workflow, right? And how and where do I get this data from? What systems should I be thinking about?
And again, if you're a marketer in the creative, you may not know what tools are available. Sit down with your marketing ops team and say, look, what can I do that is different? How can I not just do what I'm doing faster and cheaper, but how can I have a bigger impact on revenue? What would that look like? So you have to prompt your marketing ops team to help you come up with the right answers, right? And I think every sentence needs to end with drive revenue. That's,
yes.
It's, the better, faster, cheaper. Okay, been there, done that. Now it's about how can you use AI to drive more revenue?
Analyzing.
We should do a little white paper based on this, because this is fantastic. These are just like immediate ideas for ways that marketers can actually use AI to improve revenue, credible revenue.
Yeah, and I think another way, we've seen this trend even without AI for the last 5 years or so, e-commerce and B2B, steadily moving more. So even if you're selling annual $1 million contracts, your customers would still prefer to buy, just online than go through the checkout process. They don't really want to talk to a rep. So this is also leading to more agentic commerce. So whether they're on your app because you have an app, or they just are on in a large language model, or they're in Google, or they're on Instagram, they should be able to engage with your product or service through multiple points of entry. So that means a couple of things. Number one, before you even get to the AI part, you have to have an e-commerce capability for your product or service, right? And then you have to agentify that by extending into these different things. So you would set
What was the word you used? Agentify?
Agentify.
I love that word. Isn't that a great word?
Yeah. Think about all the new words that are going to come into our
you trying to tell your mother what you do. Oh, I agentify marketing. What does that mean, honey?
That's nice, honey. Bless your heart.
That would be a bless your heart type of comment for sure. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Honey, what's your daughter Deb do? I think she's a secret agent or something. She said.
I heard agent in there somewhere.
I can't talk about it,
I'm not sure where it's going from there. Yeah.
But that's another area, I think. And then one thing we didn't talk about are events. And we don't actually, you and I don't spend a lot of time talking about events, which are making a huge resurgence.
Huge comeback. Yes, they are.
Because look, we're all social creatures, pandemic aside, working from home aside, people like to get out and socialize and see people. So how would you use AI at an event? Multiple ways.
Just think about the offload of execution, right? And again, we've talked about AI, in this first phase, it's really taking off the execution work from marketers. And there's so much execution that has to happen, but a lot of judgment, a lot of strategy, a lot of make sure we don't go down the rabbit hole, once we get there. So lots of ways to use AI. What have you seen?
Yeah, so from the logistics aside of people, okay, I have to make sure things get from point A to point B and standing at a booth, but you can have an AI-driven kiosk at your booth. You could be using it to generate content for both before and after. You can analyze the trade show floor, the hotel, the makeup of the audience, and then you can interact with it to optimize a better in-show experience. So there's a lot more things that can be done with it. If
you can have somebody swipe your badge, and then you can have somebody start talking to your prospect at your booth, say, well, Debbie, well, we haven't seen you in a while. We were doing business with you 3 years ago. What happened? We'd love to catch you. And, it's just all voice activated, and it's right there. Like, I know you.
Yeah, and look, the future is here now. I don't know if you've gone shopping at a Kroger or like Whole Foods. They now have the robots, right, that are up and down the aisle that you can interact with and ask, like, what's in stock or where will I find an item.
We don't have a Kroger or a Whole Foods in Pensacola, Florida.
Well, I always knew you lived down in the boondocks.
I know. We live in the boonies. We are getting a Costco. Whoa.
Okay, so you've arrived. But do you have a McDonald's? You have McDonald's, though, right? At least.
Yes.
Civilization and a Starbucks,
There's civilization and there's a Starbucks. Yes.
Starbucks. Okay, so you're okay. But and it's coming, right? So within a few years, these robots are going to become more humanoid, more accessible. And again, not a replacement for a person, but at certain points can help facilitate a different type of experience.
And again, you can keep it authentic and warm and welcoming, and because you don't want to be like creepy, right? With the information that you have about people, you just want to have it with. You just want a good experience. Like I know for many years while we were doing trade shows, one year we had a trade show and we had all these customers coming by to visit, and we're huggers at the Pedowitz group. It's the Southern thing. It's not the Jersey thing. And then at some point the booth next door says, wow, all your customers hug you guys. Our customers don't hug us.
So we'll send them over a robot. They can hug the robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what I was thinking of though is, but when you're at a show and a bunch of people come up at once, and then you're trying to quickly, okay, you want to have a conversation. They qualify, they're not qualified. Oh, I got to spin to this. I don't want to ignore this other person. I think they could act as an additional concierge, right? They could go out, they could greet people. Hi, we're going to get you to a live person just in a moment.
Oh my God, Jeff, we've got to get a robot. How cool would that be? And then when you scan a badge, they can have a conversation with you based on how we've done business together before, your LinkedIn profile, where you're working right now, your title. Just like freaking everything. How cool would that be?
Jeff, Deb, can I talk to you? Not talk to my robot. No. That's like your
Oh my gosh, that would be, and I'm sure somebody's doing that somewhere. Somebody with more money than we have right now, but still.
Yeah, but again, these are just
and what a unique, and it would be kind of a fun and unique thing too, right? And again, you don't want to be creepy about it, but there's just so many ways that you're only. I sound like a kindergarten teacher right now. You're only limited by your imagination when it comes to how you can use AI. You truly are.
And we've said this before. Just remember this: like today is the worst AI will ever be. Like we're the stupidest.
Today. That's right.
It keeps getting better every day, every week. So just open up the throttle and start pushing yourself and your team to be using AI beyond just doing prompting and basic content generation.
And leave with the question, how can AI help us impact revenue? And we've given you at least 10 things that you can do in this call right here. And that would be a great longer post if we don't do just boom, 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 ideas, right? For how do you go from cheaper to driving revenue with AI? I love that idea.
Yeah, to be continued.
To be continued. That's right.
Same bad time, same bad channel. All right, everybody. Have a happy 4th of July. We'll see you guys next week.
Happy 4th to everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.